On behalf of AirAsia, we would like to say thank you for flying with us to Pattreeya.
Hello everyone, welcome to our special video, and for today we're going to share some experience that we have in the country that we've been visiting last month, and that country is Singapore! So before getting to know the content that we're going to have today, let's introduce ourselves first. My name is Wen.
I'm Lin.
I'm Tanwa.
I'm Ning. I'm Nanfa. I'm Milk. And I'm Floy. And first of all, we're gonna warm up with the mini game that we have prepared for you guys especially. It's like about the history of Singapore. Are you excited?
Yes!
If you're ready, let's get
Start! So I'm going to read you guys a question and the answer choices, okay?
Okay.
The first question is that what is the first name of Singapore? A. Singapura, B. Temasek, and C. Lion City.
Is it a mistake? Right? I went to the museum in Singapore. I think it's a Japanese word meaning sea. After that, it changed and become Singapura.
Interesting.
Yeah. Thank you.
Let's move to the second question, that is, Singapore was conquered by what country in the 18th century? This one is no choice.
Is it Japan?
Probably no.
Korea?
No. Which is?
That is the right answer. Yeah. During this time, the British Empire was seeing Singapore as a key hub for trading due to its strategic location. This made the British colonial administration, or Sir Stamford Raffles, aka the founder of Singapore, help negotiate a treaty with the local people and establish Singapore as a trading post. By this, the city grew and developed a lot, as well as attract various immigrants to its city, which shaped Singapore society became modern and diverse. Okay, so for the third question is that what year did Singapore declare itself an independent nation? A. 1789, B. 1870, and C. 1965.
I think it's choice A. Right?
It is C. That is the right answer. Can you explain more about this one?
I have listened to a podcast about Singapore history. And
When Malaysia gained independence from Britain, Singapore quickly tried to join in and become the part of Federations of Malaysia. But because of racial tensions led to Singapore expulsion from the Federations, so on August 9, 1965, Singapore declared itself as an independent nation, calling itself the Republic of Singapore, and the People Action Party took charge.
That's very deep information. Thank you to Nanfa.
Okay, for the question number 4 is, which one is the correct order of races in Singapore from highest to lowest? The choice number 1 is Chinese, Malay, Indian, and other races. Number 2 is Malay, Chinese, Indian, and other races.
maybe number 2, because I think Malay might have the most population since Napa said that they have been together before.
It's probably no.
Oh, so it's choice A?
According to the corrected information of permanent residence visa holders in Singapore from National Population and Talent Division in 2023, as we know, Singapore is a multicultural society, so the majority of Singaporeans are Chinese, which has a huge influence on the culture, language, and cuisine of Singapore. And the second largest ethnic group in Singapore is Malay, and the third is Indian people who immigrated as workers and soldiers during the colonial period. And for the other races, such as Eurasian, Caucasians, and Arabs, are spreading around the country.
In Singapore, there are 4 official languages, which are English, Malay, Mandarin, and Tamil. The symbolic national language is Malay because it defines the indigenous people of Singapore, including their culture and history. Singaporeans mostly use Singaporean English or Singlish to communicate as well.
The pronunciation, sentence structure, and vocabulary of Singlish are influenced by English and feature Malay, Chinese, and Tamil dialects.
So before we move on from our mini-game part, I would love to hear some experience or impressions about Singapore culture or anything that you found in there. Anyone want to share memories?
I want to share.
Okay.
Okay, so I really like the architecture of Singapore. Like the building there, like so beautiful, and I think that they got influenced by others. Like for example, we went to Pattreeya Concert Hall. Like the building is so beautiful and like feel like we like in Europe. So I think that they got influenced by Europe.
And that is all of our mini game.
Session.
Yes. Let's move to the next part.
As you all know, Singapore is a diverse country full of many people from varied races that have historical relevance to Singapore, such as Indian, Chinese, Indonesian, Malaysians, and more. And this time, we chose to explore Little India, which is a town of Indian Singaporean people. Of course, it's a colorful, busy town where lots of different cultures meet. And we really enjoy to watch it a lot. And you know what? Little India was originally a European area. And in early 19th century, they came here to be laborers, soldiers, and traders. Let's take a look at this. These are the things that we have got from the Indian Heritage Center located in Little India, Singapore. And next we're going to talk about how people here in Little India speak different languages and how they all get along.
For the first interview, his name is Jack. He's a Chinese Singaporean. His age is around 50s. He said that he could speak basically 3 languages, which are English, Chinese, and Malay, but also a little bit of Thai and Japanese as well. So for his family, he will choose to speak Hokkien. For his friend, he will speak English, Malay, Chinese, or Thai Japanese because he has so many international friends, and that makes him has many language choices as well in his domain of friends. For his job, he said that he has to move so often, and that makes him meet new people again and again. So he would choose to speak English, Malay, or Hokkien depending on that person's preferences. When he goes shopping, he will speak Malay, Chinese, or Signage because there are a lot of local stores in Singapore, so he could choose one of these languages to talk with them. Lastly, for his education, he will speak only 2 languages, which were English and Chinese. So overall, you can see that he can speak many languages or variety of languages, but the main factor for his core choice is the person he is talking with or the participants. If that person is comfortable with English, he would use English. But if Jack couldn't understand that languages, maybe Tamil, he would try to use English then because their conversation would be more effectively. So this is all about Jack, and let's take a look at the next interview we got, which is a really kind and helpful staff from a historical center in Little India.
And next, I just want to share some cute moments that we have faced in Singapore. For this interview, we actually went to the reception at Indian Heritage Center and asked for some help because we wanted to get information about Little India for our final project. So when the receptionist knew that we were international college students, he decided to help us by asking all the questions we wanted to know and writing them down on a paper for us instead of conducting an interview and recording it. He said that it was a way for us to get the most accurate information, which made us really happy and appreciative of his help. And you know what? Before we went there, a lot of people say that Singaporeans were rude, aggressive, and unwilling to talk with traveler or stranger. But in this case, it made me realize that, don't stereotype anyone because all people are different, and not only in a specific country that you will meet different type of people. So this is a proof that nice Singaporean exists too. And next, let's hear some information that we have got from ELC staff, Mr. Roby.
Not to mention the story told by Professor Roby that highlights the importance of communication. So, there was one time when he had to go to the hotel by the taxi, and the hotel name was Rendezvous Hotel. Of course, Professor Roby knew the correct way to pronounce rendezvous, but the taxi driver didn't agree. The driver insisted with accent that is it not how Singaporeans pronounce that word and asked Professor Roby to speak like them. This incident emphasized the aims of communication in reaching mutual understanding. We had to adapt our communication style to fit the context, showing that effective communication involves flexibility and the ability to adapt for a different situation.
For linguistic landscape part, as we have seen, there is a mix of culture from the sign that mixes the language, whether in the street, transportation, or even in the restaurant. This might be the result from the colonization in the past and the migration of people from West country that may have different culture. Based on our observation, we can definitely see that almost every store in Little India has signage that contain more than one language. Luckily, we got a chance to interview the store owner about the signage in front of his store, which contain two languages, English and Tamil. This sign was written in English with bigger characters because the owner said that he wanted English to attract foreigners. The English one is written as Tanwa, which is an English characters, but the word actually has a meaning in Tamil, means belong to us.
After we have collected the data from the interview, we can summarize that there are many languages used by our interviewee for each domain, which mainly depend on the participant. This led to a switching of the language for better understanding among interlocutors, reflecting Singapore's polyglot community and its cultural diversity. This cultural mix can be visually seen everywhere in Singapore, particularly in street signs showing the long historical background of this country. Overall, Singapore is a melting pot of culture with diverse population, contributing to its fascinating identity. Our data offer just a small portion of the diversity, and if you are explore more, you might find that the data may be completely different from ours. Therefore, we suggest you visit this beautiful country and experience its vibrant culture. We guarantee that you will not be disappointed.
Alright, this is all of the things we have gained from Singapore trip, and thank you for sharing interesting and memorable experiences and information, and thank you guys for watching until the end. Thank you! Bye!
แล้วก็จะได้มีอันนี้คือ behind the scene